Hello everyone and welcome to the session. So the last 2 days we have been exploring many frameworks, interaction, and we have interacted with our seniors, alumni, and also we solved a lot of case discussions, guesstimates, and now at the end of Crack the Case. So what's the best way to conclude the event than to have all your doubts answered? So today we have Vikram Aditya Vajjala bhaiya. So we all know him from his association with CNA before joining BCG as an associate. He was the ex-analytics head of the club, and he has also interned with Wadhwani AI before joining BCG. So today, he'll be sharing his experience uh, for his role at the BCG, and also he'll give us insights about how to prepare for consulting roles. So over to you here.
Yeah, hello. Am I audible now?
Yes, Bhaiya.
So, hello everyone. Thank you for such a graceful introduction. So, I'll just reintroduce myself. I'm Vikram and I'm an associate at BCG. I've joined in the July 2022 batch and I've been the analytics head of the consulting and the analytics club at IIT Guwahati in my third year. Yeah, so let's start initially, as mentioned, with the preparation part. For preparing for consulting roles, I'll be speaking mostly from the perspective of MBB because I have prepared mostly for MBB roles. MBB here stands for McKinsey, BCG, and Bain. So for preparation of BCG, the interviews are completely case interviews, as you must have known by now. And in preparing case interviews is all about practice. I mean, never for a moment you can think that I'm not made for this or something. It's all about practice. Like even I started from ground zero. Like I had zero case interview preparation before. Like I wasn't even expecting BCG to come for the placement season. Like as mentioned, I interned at Wadhwani AI and all my projects were also in data science. So I was completely in a data science profile. But consulting was something it was always interesting to me because the way you approach problems is useful everywhere. So in that way, being part of the club also gave me an air of consulting in my second and third year, and having participated in some case study competitions like ICC and Strategy Storm, it felt fun. But when BCG came, I was completely out of touch with everything. So after BCG came, I was pondering whether I should prepare or not. In the end, I've decided to give it a fair shot because it's a pretty big firm and opportunities like these don't come by generally. So you start off the preparation, like you just start off with practice. Initially, you will be really bad. Trust me. You are gonna flunk cases like anything. You are gonna get lost everywhere. You are not gonna know what questions to ask or how do you proceed. But you will eventually get better and you will notice yourself getting better. And that will give you an additional boost of confidence. The initial 3, 4, at max 5 days will be really lost. You'll be like, am I even fit for this? You'll be really demotivated. But at some point, you'll really notice that a particular case went better than your first case. And I'm not sure if you have discussed previously the kind of cases. Let me know, Mansi, if you have discussed like the different kinds of cases like profitability, market entry, or growth strategy. Has that been discussed here?
Yes, Bhaiya. We have done that in the past 2 days over the duration of the event.
Okay, great. So as a rule of thumb, you start off with the profitability cases because they're generally the most mathematical and mechanical, like you can approach them. So you will be really words at profitability cases at first also, like nothing to worry about. But after a week, you'll if you like when you change to market entry cases, you'll understand that how good you have gotten at profitability. I mean, this is what happened with me. Like on days 8, I was thinking to do a market entry case and I was practicing with my partner. And then I realized that, oh my God, like I don't know anything on market entry and how forward I've come in profitability. And that realization will give you the major boost in doing the other two, market entry and growth strategy. And 30 days of preparation is more than sufficient. Like even without any background, if you start off on September 1, you can finish it by October 1. I mean, I did at least. So yeah, in general, this is it. If you have any specific questions or anything, you can direct it at me. I'm available to answer anything as much as my capability
Yes,
concerns.
yes. So we do have a bunch of questions for you. I'll just go start off with the first one. So so when exactly did you decide that you wanted to pursue consulting as a career, and why did you want to shift your domain or choose this over the other domains that are out there?
Okay, thank you. That was the question which every interviewer asked me, that why consulting from data science. So I have an answer prepared. It was mostly because if you look at the IIT's perspective, we are mostly technological institutes, and almost every one of is leaning towards tech, that everyone wants to do something related to tech. And I didn't want to label myself as a very specific field oriented person from the start. And consulting gives you the opportunity to explore fields. And that is what I wanted. I wanted to explore multiple fields as possible. And then finally, I wanted to specialize in one. I didn't want to miss out thinking that what would happen if if I would have tried that field, if I would have enjoyed it better. So the reason number one is consulting gives you a wide array of options. You can be a generalist, and then after choosing, like after exploring many for the first 3 4 years, you can finally specialize in your specific practice area. And it can be tech as well. I mean, they give you a lot of options. Secondly, the problem solving approach in consulting is like it helps you a lot in structuring many other areas of your life as well. I mean, the way they structure problems, the top down approach, like how you think, that can be applied anywhere. And thirdly, the career trajectory in consulting is really steep. Like, I know that the work life balance is not something that we earn for. Like, it could be pretty hard in the first few years, but I think that equal trade off is your career growth will be really high. Like, you can jump up positions really well. And lastly, because it was a really big firm and it was a big opportunity, I wanted to give it a fair shot. I didn't want to think in the future that BCG came and I didn't apply for it. And yeah. And regarding data science, I was not completely into data science. Like, I was like doing software engineering. Like, I was trying to be a generalist there also, but this was a bigger opportunity I didn't want to leave out on.
Uh, so Bhaiya, this is the next question. Like, Bhaiya, so how did you prepare your resume for the recruitment process at BCG? Like, I mean,
Oh,
do you have some tips and suggestions that you could share with us so that, like, they could make the resume stand out, especially with respect to other consulting roles?
sure. My resume, I was using the standard ITG template only. I didn't use any specialized template. And mostly because I explained the case studies which I've done. Like, I removed my tech projects and I put down the whatever few case studies. You don't have to win case studies. Even if you participate, you'll have a case, right? Like, you tried solving a problem. You just have to explain that as a project. And having PORs is really good because it shows that you can coordinate with people. Because at the end of the day, consulting is not just about selling the solution, it's selling the solution with confidence. Like, if a doctor comes and tells you that you have heart cancer but is not sure, he says that I think you have heart cancer, you won't be really proud of the doctor, right? So you have to sell the confidence along with the solution. So having PORs and managing people, convincing people to do stuff is really good. So explain your PORs, explain what work you have done in your PORs. And yeah, I think these two only, mostly our projects and explainable PORs.
Okay, great. Yeah. So, like just in general, what does the recruitment process look like at BCG? So, like, what was your experience in the different steps that were there? How long was it?
Okay. So the recruitment starts off with the CV shortlisting, and you have to submit your CVs. I think you got your mail regarding that. You have to submit your CVs, and then CVs will be shortlisted, and a pre-placement talk will be held. Then you will be given a 1 month period to train for the buddy program, you'll be assigned one employee from the firm, and she will be helping out with your consulting preparation. And you can practice like 2-3 week cases with him over the course of the month, and you can ask him whatever doubts you have. Post that, on the D day, that is on the interview day, the interview started for us. They started at 9 a.m. And what we were told that there'll be at least 2 rounds of interviews. Every round is a case interview. You won't have HR rounds. There'll be HR questions at the start, like introduce yourself and why consulting, and the other general questions. But then they immediately start off with the case. It could be any case, I mean, whatever comes to their mind, and it will most probably be a case which they have been solving in their practice area. Like they won't give a random case from a case book or anything. Mostly they give their own personal cases. And at our time, it was an elimination process. So in the Zoom video call, like there were 21 people at start, and as the rounds kept going by, people were keeping dropping off. And the fourth and the we had 5 rounds. The fourth and the fifth rounds were MDP rounds. So MDP stands for managing director and partner. So they are the highest positions at the firm, and they have the most say in your recruitment. So the fourth and fifth rounds were MDP rounds, and post the fifth round, like the results were announced within half an hour, and 5 of us got the job. So the timings will be from 9 o'clock, and it can be anything. Like the first case will be from 9 to 9:40, and then you may have to wait for like 1-2 hours for the second case, or you can get the case immediately within 15 minutes. It's not very organized, but it generally ends around like 3:30ish, and the results will be out by 4:30, 4:45ish.
Okay, Bhaiya. So, like from your personal experience, would you like to share with everyone what do you think you did right or differently during your preparation for BCG, and also some tips on what one should not do?
Yeah. So firstly, coming for the placement process, see, I'm the role for BCG is little different from the other roles at placement in the placement season. So whatever skills you learn at learn for the role may not be transferable for your other roles in placements. So for example, if you were preparing for a software engineering job at a particular company, you would not specialize it too much. Like you'll solve questions on lead code or code forces or interview bit, and then the same concepts you'll be applying for many companies other across the placement season. But for this particular role, the case interview process and the preparation may not be exactly transferable. Sure, you'll transfer some communication structuring skills, but not as much as in SD. So the first thing which you should consider is whether I should actually, prepare for the consulting seats or not, like for the consulting roles or not. So once you have decided that, once you have decided that, keeping in mind that because after BCG you have your actual placements, in case BCG does not happen, would you be able to, bounce back and all? So keep that in mind. Secondly, in preparation, finding a case partner is utmost, and it's very crucial. Practicing cases alone is not possible according to me. You need to have a case partner. It could be anybody, your friend, and you need to have an equally motivated case partner. Like if you have a case partner who is not really motivated, then the dynamics will not work out. And what I've noticed generally is the case partners, the both of them, like I and my case partner both got at the firm. So having a good case partner is really key. And you just need to practice cases, like take 2 sheets of paper, and like once you get shortlisted and you get your buddy there, they'll explain you like you need to take 2 sheets of paper, 1 sheet of paper for all the key information and key slides, like the key structure, the issue tree, and the second sheet as a rough sheet where you do all your guesstimates and calculation and stuff. And I'm not sure if your placement season is offline. Yours is offline season, right?
Yes, I think it's offline. I'm
Okay.
not very
So
sure.
okay. If your interview process is offline, then you have to practice cases in person with your partner, because offline the dynamics are very different, emotions are conveyed very easily, and proper structuring, like the sheets of paper where you write on, don't really matter in online, but in offline you need to actually make the circles and issue trees, and the drill down analysis, like one branch is over, so you cut it off and you're starting the other branch, and you need to actually show all the things to the interviewer in an offline process. And your body language and the way your confidence, everything matters a lot in offline. In online it is a little dumbed down because of the virtual communication, but in offline do practice cases like in person with your case partner, and stick to one case book. I think the IIMA case books are really good, and like stick to one case book. Don't jump multiple ones. Like stick to one case book, try to finish it properly. Like you do two cases for your partner, and your partner will do like two cases for you, and you can change the frequency and analyze every case later. Like you solve your case, let's say with a black or a blue pen, and you take a different color pen, and then you analyze the case later, like stating what have you missed. Like I used to do it with the red pen and write on the top right corner key, these are the things which I could have done better in this particular case. And I used to see key like daily if I am decreasing the amount of things I'm doing right. And with the green pen you can also write what things you're doing better from the previous case, and actively ask these things with the buddy and your case partner. Like actively ask them that what do you think I should have done better. Like feedback is really important here. Like or else how will you learn? Like actively ask your buddy that is like, should I have done something better, or did I do this better? Like actively involve them in your preparation. So one, like, this is regarding the preparation. And on the interview day, like you need to be calm. I know it's a really big thing for you, you've invested a month, and what you really need to do to get confidence, you can get confidence by two things. One is you are inherently confident, like you are like having god complex and you're really confident. And second is you trust your preparation. That is, that you have given a month for this, and you've prepared really well. So you trust your preparation, and then you go forward, and then you do not think about result. You're like, I trust my preparation, I'll do what I can do, and I'll see what happens later. Thinking of the result will really tense you up, because it happened with me in my first, like even if your case goes bad, this is really important, because my fourth case, the MDP case, it went really bad. At least I thought it went really bad, because I got stuck in the middle, and I got cross questioned everywhere, and it was really grilling. But later, after the interview, when I spoke with my buddy, and they told me that it was a stress test, and the point was to make you lose control. So do not go with any preconceived notions on what you're doing good or bad. Just give your case interview as best as you can. Follow the structure, follow the MECE process, because you don't know what they're judging you upon. Like if some things you think that you're doing really bad, they might not actually be that bad. They might actually be really good for them. So stop focusing on the parameters on they're judging you, and start focusing on the things which you can control. So these are the things which I think you should keep in mind regarding the preparation and the interview day.
Okay, well, so I think you've more or less covered what the preparation should look like. You should have a case partner and stuff. But in these last few days, like, which are the most crucial things that you think consulting aspirants should do before their interview? I mean, also you can also share your go-to resources that you use during your own preparation.
Okay. So I started off with the Victor Sheng book. Like it was just to give me a feel about the case interview process. It was like you can finish the book in like 2 days. Like it gives you a feel on how the interviews will be and all. And after that, I just followed one IIMA case book, and I followed the IITB case book. It's called, I don't know what, I forgot what it was called. It was there in my blog though. It was IITB case book. And in the last few days, when I was done with my most of my preparation, like I've practiced all the 3 strategy of cases, you can what you can do is you can either practice any kind of case. Like you don't ask your case partner what category of case is it. Like you just ask them to give your case randomly, and then you start solving it, because previously you will have in mind ki aaj main profitability karunga or anything else like that. So you can just start randomly solving cases. And in the end days, you focus a bit on HR preparation. Like how do you actually present yourself? Practice in front of the mirror. This is really important. Okay. You have to practice, like you have to time yourself, and 1 minute, 30 seconds, like you will have a big paragraph on your life achievements, but you have to condense it to 1 minute, 30 seconds. Mirror ke samne, like on your way you're speaking, the pauses and the tone. Just focus on that a bit. It won't take much time. Just focus, just practice like 5 6 times in front of the mirror. There'll be three main questions mostly. One would be tell me about yourself, why consulting, and why BCG. Try to keep the answers as personalized as possible, because they are interviewing, so they have seen all the general answers possible. Try to involve any life incident which you have, and try to keep the answers as personal as possible. So this is regarding the HR preparation which I was doing in the last days and random cases. And the last 1 2 days, it's better to just not do anything, because I didn't do anything in the last 2 days. I was trying to develop the mindset that I've prepared enough, and I think I can trust my preparation. So that was, I was trying to build confidence ki ha, I'm confident. Like if you practice till the last minute, you will feel like are kuch chhoot to nahi gaya, like have I left something. So by giving myself the gap of 2 days, I forced myself ki yeah, no, nothing is left, I've done what I could. Now interview day mein I'll see what I can do. So this was the three things which I was trying to do the last 2 days. So I literally did nothing, like other than chilling, and that's it.
So Bhaiya, like in your experience so far, what is that a management consultant really does? Like, I mean, how similar or different was your experience at BCG from what you
So
expected before joining?
um, I I'll try to answer the question as much as I can, because I've just been staffed, and the staffing takes place around like the first 14 days were induction, where you will be like you will be trained, like not trained, yeah, like you will be presented. There'll be a lot of presenters, and they'll be teaching you some stuff like how do you talk with clients, how do you structure slides, and they'll be giving you general tips and strategies, but they're not really like pushing you and that helpful, because you'll listen that day and then you'll forget the next day, and until you really practice something, it won't get imprinted. So I've just been staffed last week on a steel client, and so what I have really observed, at least here, is key, you are given ownership. It's like what I thought previously before joining was that I'll be like some sort of support for the other experienced consultants here, and like I'll be like their sort of their assistant or something. Like they'll be doing work and I'll be helping out with their work, and like they'll be the main head and I'm like a support. But actually, it's not like that. Here, everybody has their own module, and the induction happens for all the like associates, senior associates, and consultants. All three of them have the same induction. So basically, I was sitting with ISB grads and like really really experienced professionals, like around 28 29 years of age. A few were married even. Like they treat all of you equally. All the ASAC, the term ASAC stands for associate, senior associate, consultants. So all the three, they treat you equally, and you'll be given the same training which is given to all the three. Nothing special for them. The only difference is, in case you make an error, you will have some room to breathe, because of course, like associates, this is their first job, and they keep that in mind. But the like the quality, like the importance which is given to you is the same. Like you will be given real work, and you will be given like actual things to do, and you can actually see your work being there, although your work might not be like the core part of the project, but your work will definitely be your work. You will not be supporting anybody. So these are the few stark changes which I observed, that which were I thought previously, but now they have changed.
Okay. I think, I mean, I think we've covered this one to some extent, but I'd like you to take it up again. So, like, if somebody who's here, I mean, most of us here are from a technical background, with little business knowledge. So, how do you make that switch to consulting? Where do you start? What exactly did you start with to
Okay,
like
okay,
prepare?
okay,
Yeah.
okay. I'll give it a go again. So essentially, what happened was, being from tech background, by consulting, you just participate in case competitions. Like you just you just participate in a case competition. You just read upon Victor and you just think, ki, like I think we should do this. You don't have a base, you don't have a structure. You just think that you should do this, and you prepare some PPT using some template, and then you submit. So my starting point was like just random case competitions in my second year and third year. Like irrespective, like I didn't have any knowledge on like any frameworks or anything. But in my third year, when I decided that I'll be sitting for consulting roles, I started off with Victor Sheng. So in case anybody is noticing, like if anybody is wanting to start with the consulting preparation, I'll suggest you start off with Victor Sheng, and it you can finish it off in like 3-4 days. And once after you read the book, you'll get the feel like what is going on and what's happening and what kind of cases and what is the process. Like it's a really easy to read book. And then after you read Victor Sheng, then you actually start off practicing cases from the IIMA casebook. And you just start off practicing. It's not like you will do some courses on the internet, like like and then you'll start off. Like there's nothing like that. You just start off practicing, and after that you keep on improving. I mean, it's just feedback from your case partner and from your buddy or from your senior, anybody. That feedback only improves you and your self analysis. Like this is one thing which I've noticed, like at least in my machine learning and my data science profile, there were a lot of courses like Andrew NG and even our summer analytics. Like there were really courses which you do, and then you learn the stuff, and then you implement projects to actually learn the stuff. Here it's mostly practice, and then you learn by practice only. So these are the two things which will get you started off: case interview secrets and practice. In case you have a question on sorry Mansi, is that yeah, I can go on, right? Yeah. So in case you're thinking on like whether you should do consulting or not, coming from a tech background, so ask yourself a few questions. Like firstly, like do you want to stay in consulting, sorry, do you want to stay in tech forever? Like are you open to non-tech roles, and are you open to explore other than tech? So that's the first question which you should answer. And secondly, like this is mostly for tech people. In case people are already into consulting, then my previous answer should be sufficient. But this is for people who are into tech, like software engineers, machine, like data scientists and all. Second question is like you have to think that if you start preparing for this, then your tech preparation might be a little hampered for placements. I'm talking about, because that's what I thought. Let's be honest. So you should keep that in mind, whether you can actually balance both your coding part and the consulting part in the same time. So that is the second thing which you should think about. And thirdly, consider the opportunity. BCG is a really really big firm, and like getting into this firm, like I've noticed, like I've spoken with my other colleagues here, the ISB grads, like how much competition there is at the MBAs and the ISBs for MBBs, like McKinsey, BCG, and Bain. Like I have friends who have been preparing for many years, and they've gotten a job here. So job at this firm is really prestigious. It will be a good addition to your career. So consider these three things: the prestige of the job and the firm, and the work which you will be doing, like the kind of work which you will be doing, the kind of trajectory growth your career will have, and the preparation, whether you will be okay in case you do not get the job at BCG, like whether you will be able to handle yourself. And trust me, you will be able to handle yourself. I mean, I have friends like who have prepared for BCG like anything. I'll give a live example. My friend Ritvik Patel, who was the strategy head with me, He prepared a lot for BCG. Unfortunately, he couldn't make the cut. But after that, I've seen him preparing for software engineering roles, and finally he landed a job at Microsoft, which I think is great. I mean, people do it. All you need is dedication. Like, it's not really hard to bounce back. So keep that in mind as well. So these are the three factors which the tech people should consider before, thinking about working here, like thinking about preparing for consulting roles. Mansi, does that answer
So here,
the
like,
question? Sorry. Go ahead. Go
Yes,
ahead.
yeah, that does that. Thank you.
yeah, so here, like, I mean, you just mentioned about competition for getting into MBBs, right? So, I mean,
Yes.
MBBs are like, MBBs are same way to consulting enthusiasts at like our IITs are to engineering aspirants. So,
Yeah.
would you prefer to talk a little bit about why is this the case and what is the importance of MBBs?
Certainly. So firstly, okay, let's understand why MBBs are really so prestigious. Firstly, is the people, the same like IITs. Why is IIT so great? It is more about the students than about the actual teachers. Let's say here the peer network like is really powerful. Like it's like all the good people they've hired by paying and like by the roles, and really smart and good natured people work here. Like almost everyone whom I've encountered in this firm is really nice. Like they are really looking out for you, and the peer group around you is really smart. Like you will be learning a lot. You will be feeling a lot of imposter syndrome here, which is a good sign because there's so many smart people around here. Secondly, the kind of work they do, if you look at the other firms, they mostly do implementation work. But here, a lot of strategy work is done, and strategy work, there is a lot of thinking going on. And you want to be there, you want to be the thinker. So, because of the enhanced focus on strategy cases, these firms have their prestige. Like other firms like AT Kearney and all, they do a lot of implementation work. Like the accounting firms, they do a lot of implementation work, but strategy work is primarily done here in these three firms. So these are the main reasons. And of course, you'll get to travel a lot if that matters to you. If that matters to you, you'll get to travel. My first case, and I'm traveling to Hampi, Karnataka. So yeah, you'll get to travel a lot if that matters.
That's great. Now this question is little maybe for some people who are not final yearites here. How important do you think are good internships for getting noticed or shortlisted by BCG or other MBBs?
Good internships. Yeah, I mean, if you have good internships, it does make you stand up. Like define good first of all. Is it like for
I mean,
uh
well known, not I mean
yeah,
well known
okay.
companies. I mean.
Chalo, koi na. Good internships, yes. I mean, of course, if you have good internships, it's good. Even if you don't have good internships, if you have some internship, see, mostly they look out for the work you're doing rather than the actual prestige. If I be honest, if I be honest, my internships were also not very good. Like Vadani AI, the firm I heard the first time when I came to my third year only. So I assume it's not very popular. There is some background noise. Is there someone having a question? Yeah, I think it's fine now.
We have muted. You
Okay,
can continue.
okay. So as I was saying, yeah, what was I saying? I got lost into my train of thought.
Uh, yeah, your own personal internships and getting
Yeah,
shortlisted.
so Vadani AI was not really a well-known firm. So regarding that, having well-known internships is good, but not having internships, like having or poor internship, like poor in the sense not well-known company. Okay, good and bad are being ambiguous here. Well reputed company, non well reputed company. But doing work in a non well reputed company also matters. It's mostly your work only, like how much you have tried to contribute or how much you have actually contributed. So this is what they look for, the output. Even in your CVs, I'm pretty sure you must have had a CV making session. Even in your CVs, the most focus should be on the output. Like generally, we try to focus on what things we have done rather than what things we have achieved. Like in tech, in my tech CVs, mostly things like I've implemented this NLP model and I've done so much training and whatnot, some crazy complex libraries and all. But that's not what they really care about, because at the end they care about is the output. So the output matters, the quantifiable output, that this many number of this much cost you have reduced, or this is the workforce efficiency you have increased, or you have tried to increase at least. So the quantifiable output for the company matters more than the actual process. Even if you have done a really simple procedure, even if you've done some small linear regression only, but you have achieved some really good quantifiable goal, then that is really good. So the main focus on your internships should be your output, and put that first, like put that on your CV, that this much I've tried to do by doing so and so, by whatever it can be, like any model or any survey or whatever it can be. So this is regarding the internships.
But yeah, we have discussed like many things about consulting. But what is the most rewarding thing so far about consulting?
The most rewarding thing right now is like, well, at least now at my early stage, is the importance which I'm being given. Like I didn't expect I'll be like seen as somebody, because coming from a tech background with no uh real world experience as such, like the amount of importance they're giving me and the amount of uh like value they're giving to my say is what has really made me happy. Like whenever I try to say stuff, like even the peer group, even in the orientation, the induction peer group also, whenever any associate for that matter had, or any person for that matter had to say anything, the others actively listened. So this was the most rewarding thing which I found, that people actually do listen here and do care about your opinion irrespective of your positions. So this is what I like the most here. And yeah, in case you care, there are a lot of parties and there are a lot of you can fund everything on the company, and they give you a lot of thinners and all.
Yeah, that does matter actually. Uh, yeah, so I think that's it for the questions from our side. But anyway, while preparing, you might have researched about the questions that's generally asked by BCG and other MPVs. So did you find any pattern, or do you think there's something that people can focus on the most in these last few days before interviews?
Are you asking about case interview questions?
Yeah, yeah.
No, actually not. It depends, because the interviewer will be random. It's not like there are some set of interviewers who are asking the questions. Like it's not a rule key. All the people who are shortlisted, will be having the same set of interviewers. You can have different set of interviewers for each person also. MDPs also keep changing. So there is not much quantified, because you'll get to know the interviewer in the last moment. Only MDPs you might get to know before, because they'll be conversing with you. So you can research about the MDP and thoda you can see like what he does and all. But yeah, in the general, like the first 3 rounds, you can do nothing, just prepare general preparation only. They can't be specific, because you don't know who is asking and you don't know what they will ask. It'll mostly be from their experience. So I mean, and it's not required also, like it's not required to have domain knowledge here. They won't expect you to know at least any domain knowledge. So doing specific preparation, I think, is not needed.
Yeah, I think we can open the meet for questions from the attendees now. If you guys have any questions, please type in on chat. And I think you have mic access, so you can unmute as well.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, hi Vikram. Thank you for the session. Like the insights were really informative. So my case is different. I'm not from IIT. and I am currently pursuing BCom honors from Shriram College of Commerce. So we have had MBBs coming in my firm, and like unfortunately my CV wasn't shortlisted for any of the MBBs. Like they shortlisted around 10 to 12 people, and out of those people I was not in the list, right? So now I want to understand, if I wanted to get into MBB, is there any way just after grad, or I should first go for MBA and then only I'll have a chance to get into MBB?
If you're asking about like off-campus opportunities, then of course, as you said, MBA is one option which you can directly enter as a senior associate. But if you want to enter right now, I'm not really sure, because even in the referral portal, I have not seen referrals for associates. I haven't asked them as well, because I haven't had the need yet. But in case anyone is interested, do drop me a text on LinkedIn. I'll ask my mentor that is there possible for a referral in as the associate position referral, like the undergrad position, and I'll let you know, because I haven't asked them. Even the portal, associate
That'll
was
be
not
nice.
really there.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. Actually one of my seniors, he recently, I mean, he was from on campus, he was placed at Danburg. So then he approached off-campus opportunities. He looked for off-campus opportunity, and now he's working as an associate consultant at BCG. Right. So okay, I'll drop a text on LinkedIn, and maybe we can discuss that. Thank you so much.
Sure, sure, sure. If anybody has any other questions, I'm ready to take up. Feel free to ask any questions, like it could be anything regarding the firm, regarding the fun part at the firm, regarding
Also,
any
have one more
specific.
question. I have one more
Sure.
question. Yeah. So now, like the other companies will come in. So we have been preparing for this cases. Like we are a group of three people around. So what happens with the difficulty that we are facing is, we are done with all kind, not all kind of this. We are done with profitability, marketing, conventional, sorry, unconventional pricing, growth. We have just covered it all. Now what's happening is, there is some sort of repetition in terms of getting the feedback. So the feedback is my partners only, like they are giving the same feedback every time, right? So what we should do, should we approach seniors who could come and join the meet and just give us the feedback? Is it required, or like we should go the way we are going?
What do you mean repetitive feedback? Give me one example of repetitive feedback which you are getting.
Yes, repetitive in the sense that, so see, we are also not aware of the entire thing, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we did not actually come up with something out of the box, in the sense that we my partner only reads the case, and whatever the inputs the case has, we are restricted to that only, right? That I already get to know while reading the case after the completion of the case, right? So now I wanted to have a feedback that is not from the case or the case book only, something that is outside the feedback, because that is how I'll be generating uh, other ideas too, right? So in that case, what should I do? What should I do?
So, okay. Um, so first thing, as you said, approaching people who have experience in it is really helpful. In case that is not really feasible, then um, what I'm just trying to recall what we did so that I can give you insights from that. So the first thing which we did during the case is, I didn't read the case which I was doing. Like, my partner read the case and then they asked me questions. And then after the case finishes, what first thing we do is, was it convincing? Like, was reaching the solution convincing? Was I feeling unconfident? Like, was not I, but was my partner felt that I was unconfident anywhere? So first thing, you take a sheet of paper and try to write the metrics, and you try to give grades to your partner. Like, the first was confidence. Second was the content, like whether you're able to stick to the MEC structure and at every point. So think in ways like structure this also, structure your feedback process also, so that you can actually get good quality feedback. So first would be confidence, second would be content, like am I sticking to the MEC structure, have I missed it, anywhere, or are my recommendations also MEC? Yeah. And third would be synthesis. So what is synthesis? Synthesis is very important actually, because it could be your saving grace in a case. You could have really messed up a case, and doing like good synthesis will save you. So what do I mean by synthesis is, synthesis is basically a summary of the case you've done. So after the exhausting case, even the case interviewer will be little lost on whether you've actually read this, like whether you've actually reached the solution or kuch hua hai, like have we reached a good endpoint. Then you take up charge and then you synthesize the case that these are the problems and these are the solutions which I'm recommending for the problems. So synthesis will really help you out, and evaluate the synthesis also, like whether it is good. And there is a thing, it's a little advanced, it's called mini synthesis. I don't know if you have heard about it. It's all present in the Victor Schenk book, in case you're wondering. So mini synthesis is like in case only, like after half the case, you take like 30 seconds and synthesize that. Until now I've done this. Mini synthesis is a really powerful step. It helps you and your interviewer to stay on the same page. So third point would be like synthesis slash staying on the same page. Whether your partner was able to keep pace with you, like whether she was on the same mental picture as you. In online, it's extremely important to maintain that, because you are in your own room in a virtual world and they are in their own room, and staying on the same page is really hard. So you have to actually involve them in the case preparation. You have to actually get them thinking, and this is what you should ask them, like whether you're involved. Like you should ask them questions like whether do you think that we were on the same page, were you feeling lost anywhere at any point, and if you're feeling lost, what could I've said before to not make you feel lost. So this would be the third point. So if I synthesize this now, the first would be confidence, the second would be content, and the third would be, am I staying on the same page and am I doing the proper synthesis. So these are the three examples which come in my mind when I talk about evaluating cases for your partner. You could have your own KPIs, like sit down and you three people sit down and think, what does a good case look like? What are the good, what are the good KPIs of a case? And then you start evaluating. I think this will really help you out, because this is what we did. Does that answer your question in any form?
Yeah, it does. One more question. I'm really sorry. Yeah, so one more question. So while solving guesstimate, what's happening with me is I am not very good with numbers. Like I'm a kind of a person who hesitates solving numbers. Like so in guesstimate, what's happening is I'm taking a lot of time. Like since I've practiced a lot, even though I'm taking time to solve the case. I mean to solve guesstimate. So how to work on it?
Numbers you have to practice only. There is this website in Victor Schenk book only, some case math something. I don't really remember. It's there on the book, like where there is a website and you can practice math on it. You don't have to be exact. You should have to be you should have like approximate math is sufficient for a guesstimate. Don't try to be exact. There are some tips and tricks in the book, and there is a practice website in the book itself where you can practice math. But yeah, you can't avoid it. Like this is one thing which I noticed, that people tend to avoid math, and generally uh, tech people or tech people will try to stick to math. Like if they get math, they'll be like, oh my god, I got math, this is one thing I've been doing all my life, so let me just kill this part, and they'll do exact calculations and perfect things. That is also not good, and completely avoiding math is also not good. You should be comfortable with numbers, that if numbers come, don't feel scared or don't feel enthusiastic. Like this has happened to us. Like when we used to get guest we get very happy because this is something which we know, like playing with numbers. So don't get enthusiastic and don't get scared. Like you should be comfortable with numbers, and it comes with practice only. Like approximate math is what you need. Like just do back of the envelope, just approximate, give numbers. Like it comes with practice only, I mean. Not really some tips or tricks in that.
do that. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hello. Yeah. Yeah. Bhaiya, I wanted to ask that suppose you are you get a guesstimate or a case problem and you are initially extremely stuck. You do not know how to even like how to begin. You are unable to find the first step, how to proceed. So any like suggestions if you like
For
initially just
the
blank
case
out
or for the
if
guesstimate?
you get a problem?
Are you talking about the case or are you talking about a guesstimate?
Yeah. In any of the above, like sometimes you
Okay,
just blank
okay.
out, you just do not have any idea.
Yeah, that does happen quite a lot. Sad flashbacks. So, firstly, calm down. Okay, I know when you black out and you look at the other person's face in a questioning manner, you will freak out, which is normal. Like, accept it, but don't encourage it. Accept that it's okay. I'm feeling lost. It's okay. Let's take a step back. Taking a step back always helps. So now you should always think "Ki, what I've done till now. If it's the starting of the case, you'll always have some starting point. Like you'll have clarifying questions. If you have done any case practice before, you'll have some set of clarifying questions for the case. They are your starting point. Like you'll have questions like, since when is the client having the problem? Where is the client situated? I mean, I'm just telling questions on top of my head. It depends on like case to case, but you'll have a general set of clarifying questions. And then after that, you will start, you'll tell, okay, let me take 30 seconds. And once you get your clarifying base information, then you will start by the case. If you blank out initially, start off with clarifying questions. So this is mostly like how do you handle, and in the between of the case, this is where the tricky part comes in. Between of the case, if you've reached a dead end, then take the help of the interviewer. You have to take the
Okay.
help of the interviewer. So basically you tell that, okay, I have analyzed this. I don't think there is a problem in this particular branch of the tree. Am I supposed, do you want me to go further? Like ask them, do you want me to go further in this tree or do you want me to analyze other branches? Don't assume stuff that ठीक है ये कर लेता हूँ, I'll do that. Ask them. They are meant for answering your questions only. Ask them freely,
Yeah.
and they'll tell you.
Okay.
They'll always tell you. They're there to help you only. They'll tell you कि हाँ you can analyze or you can go back. In case they tell you to analyze, but you don't have anything to analyze, then you take a step back and you try to think. At least show that you are putting effort, because that is what matters. Like of course you can't solve every case, but at least show
Yeah.
that you're putting effort and you think out loud ki, okay, I've analyzed this, what else is there, like think out loud ki, okay. And then in the end, like if you can't, then just tell them that I'm sorry, I'm not getting anything at the moment right now. uh
Okay.
how do we proceed or something, like it's brutally
Yeah.
honest. I mean that's what you can do at that point.
Okay.
But it's okay. It's not the end of the world for you. I'm telling you, like this, you may feel like it's the end of the world, but it's not. That thing actually matters. Plain brutal honesty is very much appreciated, because because I'm working here, right? So the PLs or the
Yeah.
project leaders, what they're afraid of, I'll tell you what they're afraid of. They have told us, literally, they've told us that we are not afraid of you making a mistake, but we are afraid of you hiding a mistake. Because if you make a mistake, you'll feel like, "Arey, maine galti kar di, I'll try to rectify it somehow and somehow mask it or something." That is what they don't want. They want you to tell them all the crap in the case which is going on, so that they can handle it from their end. They don't want to be surprised in the end with some bunch of problems happening in the case. That is what they are most afraid of. So being brutal honest is what they really appreciate in newer associates, because of course you will do mistakes and you will get stuck. So yeah, that is regarding getting
Okay.
stuck on a case.
Thanks a lot. Like that was very helpful. Also, like, does VCG like actually read the applications we fill on its internship portal? Because like it does not come to IITG for internships, and it takes summer interns from other IITs. But so, is it any helpful applying on their page or any other process to apply for interns at VCG?
I do not have information about that currently, but in case you want me to ask anybody here, I can ask HR, or I can ask my buddy, like, what are the ways in which IITG students can apply for internships.
Okay, thank you.
We can take up one or two more questions if you guys have any. You can feel free to type it on chat as well if you cannot unmute right now. Also, this is a good opportunity to actually talk to somebody who's been in your place last year. So just ask anything.
So I think we can wait for 2 more minutes. Otherwise, we can end the session. So,
Feel
guys,
free to
if you have
ask.
a,
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, go good. Yeah.
Nothing. I mean, I'm just telling this. Feel free to ask anything, like
Yeah.
whatever comes to your mind regarding the firm, regarding the preparation. It could be anything, whichever concerns you. You could also ask me on LinkedIn if asking in a group of people makes you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, I have a question. So, so how, I mean, if I want to prepare for HR round, so how thorough should I be with my CV?
Fully, entirely. You should be completely thorough with your CV. You should have your CV. I mean, ideally, you should have your CV by hearted. Like, you should be able to answer every point on your CV. Like, when I was preparing my CV, I understood what questions I'm gonna get. I understood that they're gonna ask me that why am I doing consulting when I have such a strong data science profile, or why, when I've done my whole the 3 years, my first 3 years I've been doing data science, why suddenly consulting? Like, questions will become apparent if like once you start reading your own CV. So be thorough with your CV. Don't be surprised at any point on your CV. Yeah, so it's you have to be thorough with your CV, completely thoroughly. Any question they ask from it, you should be able to answer. But don't worry, they will not go very deep into your CV, because mostly they're only concerned about case interview. But yeah, having a good idea about your CV is very important.
Guys, if you don't have any other questions, we can wrap the session up. So, thank you, Paya, for joining for the session. So, this has been very insightful, and I hope everyone benefited from the session as well. And also, this actually marks the end of Crack the Case 2022 edition. So, we conducted our 6 lectures, released our annual consulting guide, and we conducted a lot of competitions and other initiatives in between. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for supporting the club, and I hope you'll continue supporting us in the future as well.
I
Thank
hope
you
this
guys
was
for conducting.
helpful.
Thank you.
So I
Thank you
think
for your.
I'll be leaving now. All the best, guys,
Yeah.
for your
Thank you
preparation,
so
for
much
your
for
placements.
joining.
Thank you, Bhaiya.
Chalo. Goodbye, guys. All the best.